We have to talk about Lisa Rinna. Real Housewives of Atlanta is starting to come up too, because we're like 3 episodes in. It's supposed to be a great season. We're supposed to get a great season from Atlanta. I don't know if we will see it. We're here to talk Lisa Rinna. She just did an article with Screen Rant, and she did not talk well of her coworkers. None of the ladies have basically, congratulated her or posted on her Instagram, none of them. And she did this whole article, and it basically sounds like she's saying she's the queen of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. The article opens up, it has a photo of her. Before I get started though, guys, just remember everything in this video is of course alleged, and don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn those notifications on. They definitely make a difference, okay? Lisa Rinna has basically crowned herself the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills queen. First line in the article, it says that while Kyle Richards is the only original left, she's like the only original OG. It says Lisa frequently steps on the scene for the most hilarious and accurate commentary. She feels like a Real Housewives of Beverly Hills legend by her own right. And then after, so it's basically dogging Kyle. Hi, Groovy Tuesday. Dogging Kyle and saying, like, even though you're the OG and you have been here, Lisa is hilarious and does accurate commentary, and she's amazing. Then she goes on to basically say that she is also, her impact on pop culture and the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is unparalleled. This has me thinking, guys, if she is going to take on Kathy Hilton, and Bravo has a decision to make, are they going to ride with Kathy Hilton and try to cover up this whole, racial slur situation? If they do, they're not going to be able to be okay with Lisa. Harry will be the queen of BVI. Oh my goodness, guys. I know you saw the blind item about how she has this like special contract with Bravo about, her bringing the drama and stepping it up, and all of these extra things that she does in return for the fact that her private life is not to be brought up, spoken, nothing, because she's the only one that has an income right now. That's why she has to hustle so hard. They have 3 that I know of, allegedly 3 different loans out on their house, lines of credit, whatever you want to call it. 3 separate lenders they have on that house that looks like it hasn't been washed or remodeled in about 40 years. Her house looks, every time she makes videos when she's dancing, I look around at like the attire, just, just see what other people's houses look like. I would throw a freaking party if Bravo got rid of Rinna and Erica. Harry will be queen of Beverly Hills before Rinna. I think so too. Did you guys see how he was interacting with the men at his birthday party? And like all the men were like sitting in the circle. And I forget who it was. I think it was Diana's husband. And he was like, I wonder what they're talking about over there. It's getting kind of loud. And Harry was like, oh, don't worry about them. Don't worry about them. Anyway, more importantly, back to me and how amazing I look. I think Lisa messed with the wrong family, the Hiltons. Barbara, I agree with you. That's why I didn't believe this at first. I was astonished, because if you're taking on the Hiltons, that means you're taking on Paris, you're taking on Nikki, you're taking all of their close friends. Kathy and Rick have like prided themselves on being socialites in Beverly Hills. That's why there was so much jealousy between Kathy and Kyle, because Kyle really she was a mom. She had 4 kids. Rinna is a beard. She definitely is. Rinna is a beard. Harry is in Canada in some cabin hooking up with whomever he wants. Did you see how Rinna didn't even sit near her alleged husband? Yes, I felt like you could see that Rinna was like super nervous, because not only did she have to like fake the relationship and the marriage, and Harry has to fake it too. So she has to worry about Harry faking it. She has to fake it. They have to sell it to their friends, and then they have to sell it to Bravo and sell it to us, okay? Yes, Alan, her house, not even 1990, like 1900, okay? Like, it is bad. It doesn't even look clean. I mean, you can have vintage, you can have beautiful things that you keep for years and years and years, and her house just looks dirty. If you look at the floor and the rugs and stuff, it just doesn't look clean. I can't help it. I just don't think that it looks very clean. And I don't think that Harry is there much anyways. He's in Canada doing his own thing, and that's why Lisa Rinna has to hustle so hard on the Real Housewives, because that's their only income. They're basically living off what she makes. QVC fired her. Rinna has an overinflated sense of self. Absolutely she does. Absolutely. You know, she wasn't... Remember when LVP told her that she should go back to selling dusters and diapers? I mean, that was a good one on LVP's part. I'm just saying, because Lisa did that whole Depends campaign, and she did that a while ago. I posted a video of her on my Instagram, like selling the Depends. She was like playing the role on the red carpet, and Harry's there selling it with her, guys, because that's the thing. Lisa sells it hard, but Harry is like her sidekick. He's like the co-signer, because he's Harry Hamlin, and he's famous, and he's sexy, and he was with all of these famous women, right? So anytime they're trying to play us, whatever the case may be, they're trying to make money. Diana Jenkins got Barbara, that is so funny. That was all over Twitter. So is he really gay? I knew the rumor was. The rumor's always been that Harry, you know, had a significant other that, you know, was a gentleman, and it was not Lisa. Like, him and Lisa have not been together for long. Nikki and Paris' sister married a Rothschild. LA, you're right, one of the richest families in the world. LA, you make a great point. She did marry a Rothschild, and they are like one of the richest, biggest, most powerful families in the world, probably. Honestly, they are very, very powerful. Not that I think they're embarrassed of Kathy. I'm going to be honest with you. That's exactly why Amelia is out of there trying to make her own name and money so she can get the F out of that house. I don't blame her. But I think that the Rothschilds don't want to be affiliated with the Hiltons, guys. If you watched my last live, I tell you about how I'm reading the House of Hilton, and all of the people, like when Kathy and Rick, they were not classy people like you would expect. Like, the reports of them, people called them the Beverly Hillbillies, okay? Like, that there's many articles and like dedicated to how hillbilly-ish, if you will, Kathy and Rick were. So I don't think that the Rothschilds want to be affiliated with them. Like, it was all fun and games, and it was funny when Kathy was wearing a she went to Craig's and changed out of her dress, and they made a dress out of the tablecloth, and she came out of Craig's wearing that, and everyone's like, ha ha ha. I'm telling you, Nikki and the Rothschilds weren't like, ha ha ha. Like, they are embarrassed by that kind of stuff. And Kathy is a drinker. Her mother was a big drinker, and she's a big drinker, just like Kim and Kyle are. And so she gets in these predicaments that normally nobody would really pay attention to or report on. But now that she's in the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, you're going to see it on TMZ. You're going to see tons and tons of people reporting on it. And I think that that's why... if you guys watch, she did like a little interview with Paris and Nikki about her going on the show and how she didn't tell them that she was going on the show. If Lisa's going after Kathy, she must feel it's safe to do so. I think so, okay, too, but I also think that if Lisa made the comment that if it's like her time to go, she's gonna like burn the place down first. Like, she will burn Beverly Hills down before she will leave the franchise. And I'm wondering, because we heard last season that there was a chance she could come back as a friend. So is it possible that maybe Bravo was going to demote her? And so she, you know, is basically like, I'm about to go big or go home. Or are there some producers? Because that's what happened, guys. I heard this on Sherelle's World. She said that producers leaked this. That this happened. It wasn't necessarily Lisa that leaked the racial slur and the homophobic slur. It was production, because they're pissed. Like, there's African American and LGBTQ members that are part of, you know, Bravo, and they're part of production, and they're cameramen, and they're all different types of people, you know, that make up Bravo and production, and they're upset because they know the truth that Kathy used a racial slur, a homophobic slur, and now Bravo's going to try to cover it up. So they said F Bravo, and they leaked it. And that's why in those text messages, well, the messages that Lisa Rinna, you know, that were leaked, she says in there, the press already has a hold of it, because she's probably I mean, who knows what she's making moves behind the scenes too. And I say this all the time, guys. Production has a way bigger part than we realize. Do you guys remember the Real Housewives of Atlanta when all of that transpired between Phaedra and Kandi, and Phaedra had said that allegedly Kandi and Todd drug people and they have this sex dungeon? Kind of the same story. Alan says, my old coworker worked for a Rothschild family member and that the family hates reality TV and public attention. Absolutely. These people are like the richest people in the world. They don't roll with reality stars and reality TV and people like, you know, Kathy and Rick. Like, that's not they're so classy and so rich that they realize, you know, that Kathy and Rick aren't. But to other people that, you know, maybe aren't around a lot of rich people, or for viewers like us that are just average, hardworking Americans, Kathy, we don't really know what rich people are supposed to act like. They're all different. So we think, oh, well, maybe she is like us and she has a TV tray and, you know, she sleeps with a fan or whatever the case may be. But in actuality, if you take the Hiltons and you put them in a group of really rich people like the Rothschilds, they're going to stick out like poor people. Like, they're going to be the hillbillies. But if you take Kathy and Rick and you put them in a group of, you know, average people like us, they're going to look like millionaires. So it's kind of all in who they're hanging around. Hi, Harriet from the UK. All right. Do you know anything about PK? Do ya? Anything? Always want to know about Dory and PK, especially with this whole robbery thing. We're trying to get the LAPD official police report because all we're getting is you know, LAPD has made reports of the incident on their website, of course, to keep the public up to date. But unfortunately, none of those reports have mentioned a firearm. And we have disputed on Instagram. We have disputed. Harriet doesn't know anything about P. That's okay. Keep your eyes open. You never know when you might run into him, because him and Mauricio were supposed to be filming that agency show that we've never seen come out. And, you know, he tours with Boy George, too. But, yeah, we haven't heard anything about this firearm in the reports from the LAPD. So that is very, strange, okay? Because it's a really big deal if you have a gun and you rob a house versus if you just rob a house. So it would make a very big difference if she was robbed at gunpoint or if they just broke into her home and robbed, her. So we got to get the official police report because it would definitely be in there. But to do that is a whole process through the LAPD, especially since no one's been charged yet. And of course, there would be specifics, of course, that the police could leave out of the police report. You know, it's kind of up to LAPD discrepancy. In the last robbery that took place at Dory and PK's home a couple of years ago when they first came on the show, they were robbed allegedly because their house was featured on the Bravo $1 Million Selling or listing, and they had an open house, and a guy came there and basically scoped it out, and then a couple of weeks he came there and robbed them, and they allegedly found him and this whole group of people that were robbing other houses. But it just seems like if you were robbed before, you would be a little bit more mindful in the future. Correct? Am I not correct? I mean, when Kim Kardashian was robbed, she stopped wearing jewelry. She stopped wearing name brands. She didn't want people to know where she was. She didn't have her locations on. She wouldn't even post like live, you know, she would post days later, even if she would, or she quit posting altogether. And we've just really not seen any of that from Dorit. I think she definitely looks traumatized. I think she's been through a terrible experience, but I'm not sure if that experience includes a gun. And if it doesn't, then we have a really big problem, because either Bravo has encouraged her to exaggerate her story. You would definitely be more careful. Exactly, Harriet. You would be more careful if all of your stuff was stolen. Unless if you want to be robbed, unless if you want insurance money. I mean, there's people that set their house on fire, set their car on fire for insurance money. Maybe Maybe Dorit and PK like insurance money. They just leave their door unlocked for people. Like, they're asking for it. Like, please come rob us right now. We need a check for $1 million. Please come rob us. Our door's unlocked. You know, we won't be home. We'll be in London. No, but I definitely think she's been through something traumatic. You can tell that she's, you know, suffering. Who else have we seen with like trauma happen to them on the show? Because Dina had the home invasion, but she wasn't on the show. Dorit without makeup is traumatizing. Hi, Stefan. Why was she kissing Mauricio's arm? Did she not know it was Mauricio's arm? Like, that was a little weird for me. Not to mention that there was a blind item that came out like a week later talking about a West Coast housewife sleeping with another housewife's husband. So of course everyone's like, is it Dorit? Is it Erica? This has been a great blind item. Everyone wants to know who it is. And again, it basically says that there is a West Coast housewife that would have a better storyline if she was willing to talk about another West Coast housewife's husband that she's sleeping with. Okay, so everyone's like, who is it? Who could it be? And some people were throwing around Dorit and Mauricio, because we know, we've heard all of the rumors about Mauricio. He was actually in a book, guys. This was from a long time ago. It was from a person who, you know, lived in Hollywood, but in like the prostitution area. That was, you know, how they provided for, that was basically their job. And Mauricio used to come into their apartment all the time and get freaky when he was married to Kyle. And eventually this madam gets clean, gets off drugs, and writes a memoir. And she included him in there and gave a lot of tea about specifics that he liked sexually. And then, I don't even like to repeat this. This is alleged, and I don't want to say it, but I've heard, this is so sick, but I've heard more than once, more than twice, maybe 3 times over the years that Mauricio and Kyle's oldest used to have something going on, but I don't know if that's true or not. Yes, PK owned millions to the Bellagio. It started out as a $3 million debt, but it was drawing interest. Okay, it was a gambling debt from a long time ago. Allegedly, he was up all night, probably skiing. Do we, you know, that's our code word, right? Lisa Rinna's queen of baboon lips. Let's talk about the husbands. Yes. If Kim Richards goes on Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, I wonder if she's gonna, I don't know. I would like to see her and Lisa together on the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. I think that would be like amazing. But yeah, I just want to come on and tell you guys about this article. She also calls Sutton a up and coming potster. You think it's Dorit and Mo, Barbara? I feel it. It's either that or it could be Erica and PK is what I thought. But PK don't have the money to give to her all the time, so who knows? My girlfriend in Vegas said PK said the Bellagio paid the Bellagio in one payment. Yeah, that's what people are reporting, that he paid it in one payment and he's owed it for like 7 years. That's a really long time to have a debt. And then allegedly all these dead bodies are like popping up in Lake Mead because it's going dry, and the mob is so connected in Vegas, and they've been killing people for years and throwing them into Lake Mead, and now that it's drying up, they're finding all of these like dead bodies. I didn't know that Mo was in a Madam's Tell-All. Yes, it's old, but you can Google it and find it. Wait, say that again. Okay, he paid the Bellagio off, but the Bellagio debt was like 7 years ago. He's literally been struggling, and interest on this as well. They also took him to court, but he allegedly paid it off in one large check. Within the time frame of the robbery. So that's why everyone is so suspicious about the robbery and the timing of the check being paid to the Bellagio, because he hasn't managed to pay it off this whole entire time, and now that their house was robbed, they have the money to pay the Bellagio hotel. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for folks. That's why they're suspicious. This is their second robbery. They were just robbed 2 or 3 years ago, and they didn't, sorry, that's my little one cried. I have to go be with her. I think it could be Terry having an affair, if not Mo. Terry's definitely having an affair, but Terry's having an affair with his office manager. He's not having an affair with another housewife. This is a housewife having an affair with another housewife's husband. So it didn't necessarily say current or ex-housewife. He'll be back at the casino while he's got a zero balance. Yeah, I mean, they said he was up all night, which, you know, we can affiliate that with liking to ski in lines. Speaking of that, did you guys, hello, Real House, hi, Chocolate, good to see you. Listen, did you guys see the clip of Diana at dinner, at Harry's dinner? Maybe Teddy's husband also installed Dorit's house alarm. In Kyle's previous house season. Listen, Gia Sawyer, you're onto the same thing I was. I did an entire video because Kyle was robbed too, okay? So and Teddy owned a house where a gentleman was robbed and killed. He was a rapper. And all of this happened, like, Dorit got robbed one year. The next year, Kyle got robbed. And then in 2020, Teddy owned this house. It was originally on B&B, or Airbnb. Terry always gave me an unfaithful vibe. No, I meant Kyle's child and husband. Oh yeah, that's what I heard. I heard that her oldest, Farrah, and him sometimes didn't always have an appropriate relationship. Would Utah fall under the West Coast? I don't know. I think that it could. But I'm thinking more when I just think like LA and the OC. It definitely could be Salt Lake. It could be Jen Shaw. But Jen Shaw has a storyline. That's why I don't think that it's any of those people. Yes, Farrah. What? I knew it. Carrie, did you? Because I didn't want to say it. I'm glad somebody else heard it too. I saw it pop up sporadically. I mean, over the years they've been saying it. You know, she's super into real estate. I think he kind of took her under his wing and showed her the business. Like, she's a top agent. Seems like a Ponzi scheme vibe with the robbers. I know, Harriet. Remember the one picture that was in a tabloid where Kyle's husband was LA, okay, transgender woman. That is the person that ends up writing the book. It might not be the same person, but it's like the same. It was someone that was like transgender and they were prostituting, and Mo was a regular and often come to, you know, the transgender's home and use it as a sex spot while he was like getting freaky. So this person encountered him a lot, and then when they got clean, they were like, F it, I'm gonna tell everyone. But of course, like, these things that happened before the internet was big, we don't know about it. It's just like New Jersey, when we start finding out all of this stuff that happened, you know, probably like like 2012, 2013, before the internet was big. You know, there was a lot more scandals that we didn't always know about. Her oldest child Farrah has a different dad. Her dad is like a doctor. He's very rich. Allison, the famous psychic, was correct with Mauricio. He'll never emotionally fulfill her. I mean, these rumors have been going on for so long, okay? And if somebody writes a book and puts, you know, details about, you know, encounters, times, and dates, I don't know. Hi, JoJo. How are you? Miss you. I'm definitely looking to Mo and Farrah. There's not a lot, but you can look. If you find anything, let me know. Hey, Helen. But it was always kind of like whispers. Yes, definitely a different father. He's like, of course he's rich, because we know that Kyle, Kim, and Kathy's mother, Big Kathy, she was a stage mom, and she pushed them to marry men with money. Kim, when she went on Dr. Phil after she got clean, she was like talking about, because she had been married and divorced 4 times. Hey, Amanda. Kim had been married and divorced 4 times, but she was married to some really, really, really rich people, okay? And her first husband, Amanda, I wish my mom did that. Me too. Shit. Her first husband was the guy that she started to take care of on the show. I cannot remember his name, Monty. And he had money when she married him. And then somehow she starts to she's young, right? And it's kind of implied that Kathy takes Kim under her wing, because now Kathy is with Rick, and so she starts introducing Kim to all of these other men that have more money than Monty, right? So then Kim ends up hooking up with one of them, because Kathy's kind of pushing her along and guiding her. And if you see photos, because Kathy is much older than Kim is. And I saw a photo, and it just like, Kim was like this little, you know, teeny bopper 19-20-year-old girl, and Kathy's like leading her into a lion's den with all these rich men. If the rumors are true, Kyle is sick for not divorcing him, but then again, she is her mother's daughter. Alan, the mother, man, there are some horror stories about Big Kathy. And when I say horror stories, I mean drugging people, all kinds of crazy shit. All kinds of crazy things about her. But Kim and Kathy and Kyle have been in Hollywood their whole lives. And just like I say about Tom Girardi, they know where all the bodies are buried. Okay, they know everything about everyone, and they know Kim knows where the bodies are buried. She partied with people like Robert Downey Jr. Okay, they know who is who out in Hollywood and what is what, because they've been there for so long. And her mother actually uprooted her dad and the 3 girls to move from Nebraska to California, with the intention of making them child stars, right? So this was always Kim's point Kim's point to Kyle was, I didn't have a childhood. Our mother was an alcoholic. She wasn't home to take care of us. Kathy was much older, and she was working on landing her. Yeah, I think Barbara was 4 times landing her a rich man. Is Kim coming back? I hope she does too. I think I'm hearing rumors that she's coming back to the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. I don't know if she will come back to the franchise. That's Hollywood for you. It's all about grooming. Absolutely. Big Kathy Lodgy taught them. G Sawyer, you my people today. You are exactly right. There is allegedly a story where Kathy's like 17 or 18 years old, and there's an older boy at the house, and Kathy basically tells him to take her in the van and teach her how to please men so that she can be pleasing to them sexually too. That was recorded in the book. So that's why whenever Kim wants to write a tell-all, the sisters are pissed. And that's why when Kyle wanted to do her American Sweetheart or whatever based off of her family, Kathy was like, hell to the no. Like, we need to keep this stuff quiet. Just like when Kyle was at the reunion and she said when she was 12 years old, she used to drive herself to auditions. Her mother just trusted her. No, your mother was somewhere drinking. She was drunk. You had to take care of yourself. It's okay. It's like they're all in severe denial about their mother and the reality of the situation, and they still grieve her after all of these years. They cried at the reunion, and I think that you know, you can't tell anyone when to stop grieving, but at the same time, like, Sutton's dad lost, you know, he killed himself. That's how she lost her dad. Kyle's not showing any empathy, no compassion, no nothing for Sutton, and at the same time, like, her and Kathy are over here crying about their mom who passed away, that they knew she was going to pass away. They were able to make their peace and spend time with her and know that, you know, their time was short. That wasn't the case for Sutton. You know what I'm saying? Like, the trauma of not knowing, and one day your life is one way and then one day it's completely the next, it's completely different. I think that is definitely like scarring to a person, and I was disappointed in Kyle for not showing any sort of compassion or empathy for her in that scene. And even afterwards, Kyle is very much so the person that if you don't think like her, agree with her, hi, I'm so happy to catch you live. Yes, thank you so much, I appreciate that. Sutton mom didn't care. Jojo, I don't know much about Sutton's mom. I did hear her say that she was like 18 or 19 when the dad did kill himself. And that was all she really said. And you could tell that it was still very painful for her to talk about. And here's the difference between her and Kyle. Are you guys ready for this? Sutton, even though it's hard and it's painful and she may not say a lot about it, she still says it. She says, my dad committed suicide and he shot himself with a gun, because that is the reality of the situation, okay? You have Kyle, who has an alcoholic stage mother, and she can't own that. She can't own that. And you know what she says? My mother was amazing. She was a single mom in the 70s and she took care of us. And maybe she did have all of these amazing qualities, but she was still an alcoholic. She wasn't home. You and the girls were taking care of yourselves. She divorced their dad. As soon as Kim made it big, Victims sometimes grieve when their abuser dies. It's a thing. I never thought about that. Kyle doesn't have any real compassion. No, she doesn't. Groovy got mugged twice. Once in Patterson and once in Grand Central Station. When something like that is traumatizing, I can imagine it's probably very, very, very traumatizing. Like I said, Dina from New Jersey, after she had the home invasion, she did holistic therapy, and she featured her doctor on her Instagram. You guys could go check him out. Not sure why I get the feeling that Kim is wounded from having to entertain rich men for the family. Grooming behavior from child star days. Absolutely. But what else I want to say is this. The mother literally uprooted the 3 girls and the dad from Nebraska to LA because she said on the intent that she was going to make them children stars, right? So she finally got Kim. When Kim made it big, Big Kathy divorced their dad because she had Kim, okay? Kim, from that point on, her job, she supported the whole family for years and years and years with the money, and she was making a lot of money, guys. So for her, she's like, you know what, Kyle? I worked our whole childhood and I provided for our family. And she talks about driving Ferraris, and you know, the mom had a house in Palm Springs and a man had bought her house over here, and they had a very more than comfortable upbringing, more than the average Joe that's working a normal job type of upbringing, because Kim was a child star, okay? So she didn't have a childhood. Her childhood was supporting her family and, you know, working basically. So fast forward, as she gets older, she's like, the role kind of changes a little bit, and now maybe she needs some help, and she never got her childhood. So she's over here like, I'm going through something. I'm in my 40s or 50s. I supported our whole family for all of these years. You know, you were there, you saw it, and now I need some help, or I want my share in our mother's Palm Spring house. I'm the one that's down and out, and you don't want to look out for me at all. And I cannot think that Kim really needs anyone financially, because Kyle's a snake. She can never be real with anyone her whole life. Well, Alan, she can't be real with herself. That's the problem. That's why we know that she had an alcoholic mother, and Kyle doesn't. She can't say it. None of them can. I think Kim can say it because Kim's had therapy, and she's been in rehab. So I think that she's processed a lot with her mother. When she went on Dr. Phil, she talked about how the reason Kim got arrested at the Polo was because she got into it with a maitre d', and they ended up calling the police. But when the police came, they found Kim in a bathroom stall. She was crying and she was scared, right? She said that she chose the Polo, which is at the Beverly Hills Hotel, because it was a comfortable place for her, because the Davies own it, which is her ex-in-laws. The family lived off Kim. That's why Kim was so upset that Kyle's husband sold the Palm Springs house. Absolutely. She supported their whole family for years and years and years, more than supported. Like I said, they had more than a blessed upbringing, if you will. And now she's like, could you just look out for me a little bit here? Like, I'm going through some shit, and I just need you to hold on to my little $40,000 share and not sell our mother's home. And Kyle didn't. And that was shitty, because maybe like Kim was holding on to the house. Like, everyone holds on to different things because they're grieving. Oh, my brother was beaten in Patterson? Wow. I'm going to say, though, guys, I tell you all the time, that demographic in New Jersey, those people are connected. They are old school mobsters. It's a demographic where you have family that's connected, and then you also have Kim paid for the house. Jojo, I'm not exactly sure, because the mother had several different Palm Springs homes. She had another home in Palm Springs that a gentleman, a boyfriend, and ex-husband had bought. So there were different properties, but for that specific property, I think it was one of the older homes that they had celebrated Easter and holidays and such with their mother in that home, and that's why Kim wanted to hold on to it. The other properties, I don't think that she cared about, and I'm sure they were divided evenly or however. Even though their mom was a single mom, she married rich men, she hustled rich men. They said she would drink at the Polo, and she would be looking for a man to pick up her tab when it was time to go. The way that Kyle outed Kim for the alcoholism was a vicious plan. It shows a lot about who she is. Absolutely. If I was Kim, I would have sued Kyle. Yes, Kim paid for the house from her Disney movies. Yeah, Kim went through a lot. Like, look at all of these child stars that we've seen like past Kim, like from the 80s come up, and all of them be messed up. Corey Feldman, I mean, they're messed up from being Britney Spears. Look what she went through. Christina Aguilera. They all have horror stories about working for Disney, but still Kim is a good soul despite her flaws. Even Kathy prefers to deal with Kim rather than Kyle. Well, I think, again, Kim's had some counseling. She's been in rehab. She has processed things. Just because she has a problem with drugs and alcohol or she's in recovery doesn't take away from her wisdom. It doesn't take away from her life experiences, the things that she's learned in life. All it does is mean that she has an illness, she has a weakness, she has an allergy to drugs and alcohol. And it's not to say Kim asked to borrow $20K. All three sisters owned the house. When Kim came back, put the $20K into the house, Kyle said no and wouldn't let her put the money in. Yeah, Kim is definitely stronger than she looks. Definitely. Kim's been through a lot that we don't even know about. Like, those girls talked about producers and people taking advantage of them and being sexualized and all sorts of things. So imagine what it was like when it was monitored. You know, those people were just doing whatever they wanted. Who knows what Kim endured while she was working on set by herself because her mother was out drinking somewhere. And that's the truth, guys. So Kim went through a lot. And she wanted to hold on to that house. And $20,000 for Kyle wasn't shit. So that's why she got so upset with her. And if you guys remember that scene, Kim actually makes a comment to Kyle and says, oh, coming from the one that drinks every day. See, Kyle, she likes to drink, guys. We see her. She orders a margarita everywhere they go when they're out with the Real Housewives. We know, we've heard all the women from the Real Housewives of New York say, like, they pump you full of alcohol at these events. They're long days of filming. You start in the morning and you go till night, and there's alcohol all day long. And Kyle, we always see her order a margarita. Kathleen definitely deal with Kyle way more. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, it's one of those situations where Kim's had a lot of life experience. And so I think that sometimes you become more compassionate and more empathetic because you've endured it. You've been in special circumstances. Like, everything's not black and white. And guys, this is why nobody wants to mess with Teddi Mellencamp. This is it. I'd be screaming it from the top of my lungs because I know that Teddi wants people to like her so bad. Even Tamra's rooting for her. Tamra goes on Twitter and is like, you guys really need to leave her alone and give her a chance and so on and so forth. And it's like, no, the lady Teddi Mellencamp is one of the most high and mighty people, I think, online in general. Like, she is a black and white, yes or no, wrong or right, down the line type of person that holds all types of people to huge, standards that are unreasonable. Kyle alleged did steal the house by not letting her buy back in, by not saying, once you remove the money, you can't get back in. I'll mess with Teddi. Teddi is using Teddi to get close to Kyle, in my opinion. Tamra is using Teddi. Yes, bam, you are so right, Freddie. That's exactly it. Tamra's been using Teddi to get close to Kyle because Kyle has ties in production. That's another thing. Kyle's an OG, okay? She's tied with production. She's got connections for days and days and days. And Tamra wants a piece of that. Being friends with Teddi says a lot. Teddi needs to be gone. Did you guys see her in the episode? She was wearing a cheetah print shirt and she was there to support Kyle, but she was filming for extra. She was like, she said that she doesn't want to, she's not going to film with Bravo unless if they pay her. And I guess a friend role is like not paying her enough. So she is working with extra and she's like, what would you, a news anchor, caster type of person. And so she was covering the Housewives. Teddi the Nut was a big for filming extra TV. Oh my gosh, it was terrible. Yeah, they let her do like the filming and, the interviewing of the women to ask them the hard questions. And it doesn't fit her. It just doesn't fit her. Kim as a kid was the star of these movies starting 1975, Escape to Witch Mountain. Absolutely LA. Kim is not weak. The stuff she dealt with. Absolutely Amanda. Kim's had it hard. She has not had an easy life. And like, we think this, we know the streets are rough out here, but like the streets of Hollywood, if you go on TikTok and listen to stories of people that, came from maybe Ohio and moved to LA and they're not familiar and they talk about these horrific stories of like dead homeless men and people, just crazy shit. Funny how Garcelle refused to film for Extra with Teddy and only do the podcast with Tamara. Mike, Freddie, I loved that so much. We didn't even think that Garcelle was actually even going to do the podcast at all. We were just getting the feeling that the Fox 5 was in La Quinta and we weren't going to see Garcelle, but she did end up interviewing, and she would not interview with Teddy. She would only interview with Tamara. That is so funny. I'm hearing that Tamara's coming back to the Real Housewives of Orange County. I heard that they're working around her schedule so that they can start filming in a couple of months. I don't know if it's true or not. That's just what I heard. What do you guys think about that? Do you want to see Tamara back on the OC with Heather Dubrow? And then maybe scratch Gina? I don't know. And what about Emily? Are they going to keep that? I don't know what the OC is going to do. It's bad out there. I want them to bring Ashley on. She was Lori was on the Real Housewives of Orange County. She was like one of the original women. She was like a single mom. She had gotten divorced and she was working for Vicky's insurance company in Vicky's home. And she was beautiful, skinny, blonde, big boobies. But the fact they are filming the end of June, when they usually start at the beginning of June, is very possible Tamara's back. Freddie's on it. Yes, that's exactly right, Freddie. 100%. So it's very possible she's been working hard. Not to mention she was on Watch What Happens Live. I'm not a Tamara fan, but I love Lori. I want to see her. Her daughter is beautiful. Ashley turned out to be like a beautiful girl. She was posting on Instagram. You can check it out on my Instagram. And she like made a comment about how like being a housewife is in her blood. And so Watch What Happens Live got a hold of her, and she actually bartended an episode, and she was really excited. She did like a bunch of little videos on her Instagram of, you know, going there and getting, you know, how exciting it was. So she didn't really get to talk, but she was a bartender. It did get her a little bit of clout, but I'm dead serious when I say I would love to see her. You know, the brother was tragically on heroin. We heard that he unalived someone, and he was like fighting a court case. There was like some sort of incident where somebody passed away, and they were charging him. So I don't know the outcome of that, of course. Heather Dubrow is a big pretentious bore. Not all the richest housewives have queen energy. I agree with you. Do you guys watch Kelly and Rick? Do you guys ever watch their reviews? She goes so hard at the OC, but when it comes to Beverly Hills, Kelly is like a different person. Like, she doesn't talk shit about the women in Beverly Hills, but she does in the OC, and that doesn't make a lot of sense to me for some reason. Like, she did say that Kyle's store in Palm Springs is terrible. Kelly said that when Kyle had the store in Beverly Hills, don't get me started until it's alleged store. Freddie, the program, then you must know what I know. Did you see the recipe books on like the suggestion of food? It's literally like a 600 calorie a day diet. It's like beef broth and veggie flakes. Teddy, of course, you know, does like these little videos telling everyone the instructions with the recipe and beef broth. And I like to use, you know, all vegetables and all fruit, and you get 600 calories a day. Don't ask for a refund, because you ain't never getting a refund. There were all kinds of text messages going around of people like, you know, the exchange between them and their coach, and if they wanted a coach. Lori did go out with Slade. Harry, I'm so glad you said that. Lori did go out with Slade. That's so funny that you say that, because guess who's getting married? JoJo. Do you remember JoJo from the Real Housewives of Orange County? She was one of the originals. She dated Slade. Slade was fooling us, by the way. Groovy Tuesday, I'm so glad that Freddie's on this channel too. He is one of literally my favorite commentator on Sherelle's World. And like, he knows his stuff like nobody else does. And I appreciate that, because sometimes we get people that are on, you know, YouTube channels and they're currently watching, you know what I mean? Like, they watched this season, or they watched, you know, the last couple of episodes, but you gotta really, if you're talking housewives, you gotta know what's going on. And Freddie always knows what's going on. Like, he doesn't miss a beat. Some of the things that I think that I know that nobody else knows, he'll pop off, and I'll be like, damn, Freddie knew that too. How'd he know that? Yeah, Freddie on it. and 99.9% of the time, you know, it's legit. So I always appreciated Freddie a lot. I loved him on Sherelle's World, and I loved Gabor too. Prince Andrew not so much, but I love Freddie, so I'm glad he's on the channel too. He found me on Instagram and we were, you know, corresponding, but I didn't know that was his YouTube name. So when he was on the other night and he was I didn't know that it was him. But now I do, so I'm like so excited. I feel, you know, I love Freddie. He really knows his housewives. We should start some kind of like a housewives game or something, like who knows the housewives better. But I definitely want to see Lori Peterson's daughter, Ashley. I think she would be a great asset to the show. I would love to see it. I think Gina's got to go. And I don't know what's going to go on with Kelly. I mean, her and Rick are getting some popularity with their YouTube channel. I think it's more Rick. He narrates, you know, he kind of keeps Kelly on the coast, you know, keeps her going. But it just doesn't seem like, I don't know. I just don't think her reviews for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills are as good as the Real Housewives of the OC. She does let us know a little bit of, you know, things like how they all order from this specific website that sends them the clothes. It's the only site that will like let them exchange. And that's why sometimes the women end up wearing, you know, different franchises. The women may wear the same thing. And that's because, you know, they order from the same company. Yes, the diet starvation, you can never get your refund back. For Teddy's program, you have to pay cash. You have to Zelle it. I don't even know if the lady's paying taxes, and I'm not even joking. It is, you know, allegedly a pyramid scheme. You have to travel with your scale. They encourage accountability. Can you believe that, Teddy? Encouraging accountability? Yeah, you have to travel with your scale. You don't get to take a vacation. You don't get to, no, that you don't get vacation when you're doing her program. You take your scale and you stay on the program, and you better text your coach, okay? The recipes, I mean, guys, it's crazy because I wonder if Freddie knows this. Do you guys know that after she had her second baby, she had a lap band surgery? That's how she lost all of the weight. And once she lost all the weight, she started to maintain it. And that's what got her started on like the diet and the, you know, health kick sort of accountability coach theme. But she originally got a lap band. There's an article out there. You can look for it. You can try to find it. It's from when she very first came on the Real Housewives, and she admits she got a lap band after her second daughter, and that's how she got skinny. So when she started her program, she was already skinny. She just had to maintain it. Okay, which there's a really big difference. If anyone knows that you're trying to lose weight, there's a big difference between losing pounds and maintaining, right? It's a little bit easier to maintain than it is to, you know, lose 20, 30, 40 pounds. It's a big deal. It's a big difference. She has no certifications. She has no degree. The coaches don't have any certifications, no degrees. Not saying that you need that for, but it's like, if you're this big, you're this accountability coach, and you're like growing, your business is huge. I think it would be a good idea to get some sort of educational certification. I mean, would it kill her to do that? It probably wouldn't even take her very long. I mean, Kim Kardashian has the best aides in the world teaching her how to be an attorney. Like, why don't you get people to come over and certify you? Yes, she has one of those gastric back. Thank you, Freddie. Please say it again, just so that everyone doesn't attack me in the comments, because they will, and they'll say that I'm lying. Teddy Mellencamp definitely had a lap band surgery. That's how she lost the weight, and that was before she even came onto the Real Housewives of Orange County. She did not, yes, JoJo, she did have a chin strap. She did admit that she had the surgery to take care of this. Teddy needs to take an accountability coach. Teddy needs to be humbled. I'm like not trying to be terribly mean here, but the lady has, you can tell she has like zero life experience. Like, her dad was rich. She probably had, you know, a great childhood. People get seriously sick from Teddy's diet. Groovy Tuesday. No, you're 100% right. There were people, there was this account, her name was Emily. She was a big blogger, and she had like a really bad experience. The next stage of the surgery is morphing into a lookalike to Kyle. I know. Especially with the dark hair, Freddie. She looks so much like Kyle. It is scary. And they do seem put that out there. Yeah, the coach, like I said, no refunds, travel with your scale. Yes, they have seen lawsuits. There was a blogger, her name was Emily. I can't remember her last name, but I can look it up and put it in the description. She had a bad experience with like this fiber program. And she started investigating, finding out what was going on from like people that worked there and previous employees and the woman that owned it. And she found all this like crazy information about how the program was so unhealthy and how she treated like her employees had to be dressed to the nines and they had to be super skinny and they had to eat certain food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She started to sue them. Well, in the course of that, people started reporting on Teddy's terrible diet and how people were getting sick from it. And when they would get sick, they wouldn't get their refund. People were getting pissed about it. So they started sharing the conversations between the coaches. But this woman, Emily, was suing Teddy Mellencamp in the Jumpstart program, and she was basically exposing it. And she posted everything because people had shared, you know, the book, the recipes, you know, and that sort of thing. So we were all seeing it, and it was insane. It was basically, I mean, it was just water. I mean, bone broth. I mean, it's like soup. That was basically what you got. You got like fruit in between soup, and that was it. It's insane. It's really insane. It's really unhealthy. It's not a great, I can already feel like she's one of those women that like, has the other women that work for her turn on each other. Like they all are like fighting because she wants them to like fight for her attention. Like one of those work environments where all the girls stab each other in the back to try to get in good with the boss. That's what I feel like, kind of how they said Ellen ran the Ellen show. I feel like that's probably how Teddy runs her business. Now, Edwin, do we to talk about Edwin? I got a few more minutes. We can talk about Edwin. If you do, say it in the chat. Let's talk about Edwin's security company. Let's talk about the fact that they own a house that a guy was robbed and murdered at in 2020. It was originally an Airbnb house, which why would Teddy and Edwin be renting out an Airbnb house? That is wild to me, but whatever. So they were renting out this house to this like new up and coming rapper. He had like hit it big a year before, and allegedly these people came there. I did not look at how big she was. That was not, I heard her company is a scam. Teddy's company is a scam. It's a scam because you can't get a refund. You have to pay cash. Don't know how Edwin's business is still around. Teddy, I don't either. Have you guys ever read the reviews on his business? If you haven't, go check it out. I mean, there's accusations of taking advantage of elderly people, reviews about how once you start this subscription with them, you can't ever get rid of it. One lady showed her text and said she was feeling faint and was told to eat 3 almonds. Dina, I believe that. Like, their coaches, if you have a boss telling you you can't refund these people, no matter what, whatever happens, you cannot refund these people. I don't care what you tell them, we're not refunding them. So these coaches have a lot of pressure on them, and they're not trained, they're not certified. They don't have their certification is that they made it through 6 weeks of Teddy Mellencamp's Jumpstart. That's it. That's their qualification. Now they're coaching all of these people who have paid hundreds of dollars to start living a new life and learn how to be healthy. I think it's funny how Teddy and Edwin moved in to be near Kyle. 100%. 100%. Teddy was yelling at the poor girl. Yeah. Like, it is serious, and they're not learning anything healthy. They're being put, like, you know how women can be when you got all these women together and then you add weight. I mean, women are already uncomfortable about their weight, and they're, I don't know. It's just, I don't think that it's a healthy situation for someone who's trying to get healthy. If you're just trying to lose weight real quick and be done with it, then maybe that would be a great program if you didn't want to ever go back to it, because I feel like the tendencies are really, really unhealthy. Yeah, Edwin's business. It's just all bad. There was actually a girl who worked for Edwin. She called into Sherelle's world. Freddie might remember this, but somehow she got a job. She filled out an application for the security company, and he actually owned it. And she said it was the worst effing job she ever had. She didn't get paid unless there was commission. And Edwin had the people, they had to go door to door selling this security. Door to door selling security. He would put them in pairs of 2. Okay. Now, I'm not crazy, right? But like, isn't like the Beverly Hills women, they like network off each other, right? Like that was the whole thing about, LVP, and even Camille Grammer, when she got mad at Kyle, she was like, you know what? Mo ain't my realtor for my husband no more because I don't like you. And Kyle cried and she cried and cried and cried until Camille said, okay, I'll forgive you and I'll let Mauricio be my realtor. So these women make connections and they support each other by, selling their house or buying from each other or advertising for each other. So it just doesn't make a lot of sense that you have a so close that John Mellencamp is giving you private concerts. You guys are that close, but you are endorsing her husband by getting the security company. You don't have any security in your house, and you're not supporting, like I said, you have a best friend that owns the security company. Why wouldn't you be supporting that security company? Why wouldn't you have it in your house? Why wouldn't you be endorsing it? It doesn't make any sense, okay? Kyle got robbed too. Why didn't she have Edwin's security then? Oh, she says they were installing it and they hadn't installed it yet. Bullshit. Doesn't make any sense. I don't even know if it's a real business at this point, seriously. Who knows? Maybe John Mellencamp is just paying Edwin every month a salary for him to act like he owns a security business and is, supporting his family or each other's backsides. Teddy's up Kyle and Erica up, pimp. Yeah, that's because I think Erica's ready to pimp herself out, Freddie. I feel like that's what her eyes are telling Diana. Her eyes are saying, I will do whatever the F you want me to do. Okay, lady, I'm broke. I need some money. And whatever you need me to do, I will do. That's what Erica's eyes said when she looked at Diana. Because she knows. They all know the accusations. They know more about it than we do. They've probably talked about it. I'm sure they've talked about it. But, here we are. So I think that Erica definitely is desperate. I think she would do anything for $1. She's too old for sugar daddies. Sugar daddies don't want old women. Did you guys see the post that I posted of her in a purple suit? She was like doing some cat performance. She really wants Dina to introduce her to one of the billionaire sugar daddy's doggy friends. I think she does too, but just like the women of the OC say, sugar daddies want young, a pretty little thing. They don't want washed up 50-year-old Erica Girardi, okay? That's not who has about, who owes $200 million, okay? Yeah, they don't want to deal with her. They don't want someone to know they're a sugar daddy. Sugar daddies want women to be with them, and other people think that they're with the sugar daddy because he's so amazing and wonderful and rich, not because he's paying them. Right? Erica's too blunt. She's screwing herself because all she talks about is basically getting with a guy with money. And then, of course, there were rumors about Armie Hammer, who is her neighbor. Pretty little thing. You like that chocolate. Thank you for catching that. Seriously. Armie is her. Erica needs to go to Dubai. She acted and nothing is going on. I know. And she's basically calling the victims liars. The other day, Frank from New Jersey said he saw Teddy's dad and Bruce Springsteen on the shore having lunch. That's crazy. I wanted to tell you guys, it's Frank's birthday. I have a newfound love and respect for him. I told you guys in my last live video, he is supporting this advocate that I support, that's advocating for this missing little girl from New Jersey. I posted her poster on my post, so when we're done, go check it out, especially if you live in the New Jersey or New York area. But Frank made contact with this lady through Instagram because she commented on something that he posted, and she told him how she was advocating for this little girl who's been missing, and he was like, whatever you need me to do, I will do. He even offered to drive the lady if she needed like a ride to the child's mother. The child's mother has an autistic son, and the little girl and the son were playing at the park, and the little boy came back, but the little girl didn't. So Frank has now joined my friend, Missing Child. I think it's _NJ. It's on my post. He's supporting my friend in advocating for this missing child. And I think that that's amazing of Frank, because you don't see that with people, ever. So that says something to me about him. And I told you guys, we're going to see his girlfriend. I saw her at the skating rink. I told y'all the tea that Frank's girlfriend has a best friend that is one of the 3 women that we're going to see added to the Real Housewives of New Jersey. And I don't know why in the heck I had to see Tiki's wife and Tiki at the skate party. I'm so pissed. I'm embarrassed for her. I'm like, they put you in a wooden chair off the side of the couch, and they didn't even give you the audacity to bring her there, dress her up, glam her, film her, and not air 2 minutes with Tiki's wife. I would be like, F you, Bravo. Like, seriously. That's got to be like, I don't even think that's ever happened before. I mean, I just don't think that's ever happened. A housewife, comes to the reunion and doesn't get nothing. Hi, Camille. Oh, man, you missed a good live. It was really good. But we're going to come back tomorrow and we'll revisit some of the things that we were talking about. I had such a good live with you guys today and last night. Comment to me what good times you guys like to go live. It's crazy to me that Erica is the only one who gets blamed for her husband's wrongdoing. Not saying she's perfect, Patty, but listen, you make a really great point. Tom is the bad guy, 100%, okay? But Tom also knows where all the bodies are buried. And here's some really good tea. Camille, I'm going to give you some good tea since she came in towards the end of the video. When all of this happened, when the New York Times article came out, Tom Girardi kept paper files. He didn't keep electronic files. He is older than God. He's been in Beverly Hills since like 1950. He was talking about hanging out with John Wayne's brother, okay? So just fathom how old this man is. And he has paper files, right? And I heard that the people as in maybe like the feds, the government, came in hazmat outfits and removed boxes and boxes and boxes of files that Tom Girardi had on local politicians. Thank you so much, Camille. You are so sweet to me. Thank you, Camille, for that super chat. Yeah, the government came in as like covered head to toe and went in and took all of Tom Girardi's paper files, because I told you guys, he was funding judges. He was funding campaigns, senators. We saw him hug the chief of police, and there are files that are missing. See, Freddie knows. Did you see, Freddie? I'd be telling stuff that I don't think anyone knows. Freddie knows. I don't know how he knows it. I swear to God, because not a lot of people know that the government came in and took all of Tom's files. Okay, no, not everyone knows that he was keeping paper files on everyone. Should have got the money as she was making music videos. Okay, well, that's the thing. Tom was funding. She wasn't making money. He was paying for her to do that, okay? When we got her Amex statements, we saw money that was actually paid to a company that let Erica know the best demographic that would be most welcoming to her and like willing to promote her and, basically accept her, okay? She had paid this company to do it. And you know what the company said? They said, we think the LGBTQ community would be your best bet to perform. Pivot, concentrate on that community, and you'll make it. So that's what she did. If you guys remember, she always was performing in gay bars and gay clubs. That was her plan the whole time because nobody else took her serious. So while she was doing that, no one was sponsoring her. When people typically are trying to make it and they're trying to tour, they have companies or record labels or record labels that, they support them. And Eric Tom, and there's articles with a gentleman who he was like part of her glam team, and he was interviewed and he was talking about how generous Tom Girardi was and how when he was fired, Tom Girardi still paid him like 2 months salary, and he would fly them first class overseas to all of Erica's shows. They would stay in the nicest hotels. They would eat the best places. He said it was like the money was endless. Endless is how he said. First class, everyone, all the way, every time. And that costs a lot of money, guys. It does. So I definitely don't think that it's all Erica at all. I just think because Tom is old and he's slowing down mentally, people don't want to blame him. They feel bad. So, but all right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up because we are about out of time, but happy Saturday. And I'm going to try to hop on for a live tomorrow. But if you guys let me know times and days that are good for you, post it and let me know, and I'll get on a routine so that we can chat weekly. All right, guys, have a great night.